All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into something, I don't know, maybe you haven't given much thought to.
Oh,
It's the simple act of getting up out of your chair.
yeah.
We have this blog post from Dr. Raj Pusuluri, a physical therapist,
Mm.
and he's really into helping people stay active.
Hmm.
He suggests that if you're struggling to stand, he calls it sit to stand, or STS for short,
Right.
it could be a red flag,
All
or it
right.
could be like a sign of muscle weakness. And that's what we're going to be talking about.
That's fascinating, isn't it? This like everyday thing that we do that could be revealing so much about our health.
Right,
You might be thinking, well, I don't exactly jump up out of my chair these days,
right.
but it could be more than just feeling stiff.
Yeah, and I think we've always heard that losing muscle is just part of aging.
Yeah.
But is that really the whole story?
Yeah, that's a great question.
What did the blog have to say about that?
Well, this blog post really tries to debunk that myth. Dr. Pusuluri really points out that, well, yeah, aging does play a role, but we shouldn't just simplify it down to just getting older.
Okay.
Like, there are all these other factors that can contribute to muscle weakness.
Oh, okay.
And some of them, I think, will surprise you.
Like what?
So, for example, chronic conditions like arthritis.
Oh,
Arthritis can actually lead to muscle weakness. So if you think about it, when your joints are inflamed, they're painful.
right.
You're less likely to want to move them around.
Yeah.
And that can then lead to muscle atrophy. So it's kind of this vicious cycle.
So it's not just like wear and tear. It's like the fact that you can't move as much, so you actually lose the muscle.
Exactly.
Okay.
What else did he say? Inactivity is another major factor.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, if we spend a lot of time sitting, those muscles that we need to stand up, they're just not getting the workout they need. And he was saying this is a problem now more than ever with our lifestyles.
Totally. I've totally felt that shaky leg feeling after I've been sitting watching TV for too long.
Oh, absolutely.
It makes you realize you got to get up and move around every once in a while.
And the interesting thing is, this blog post, it doesn't just focus on older adults. He's really emphasizing that anyone, any age, can experience this muscle weakness.
So it's not just something to think about in the future. It's something to think about right now.
Exactly.
So if we do have muscle weakness, what does that mean? What are some of the implications of that beyond struggling to stand?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is falls.
Oh, okay.
If your legs and your core muscles are weak, you're less stable on your feet.
Sure.
You're more likely to lose your balance. And we know falls can be really serious, especially as we get older.
Yeah, this makes this sit to stand thing or struggling from the couch sound a lot more serious.
Right. It's like our bodies are trying to tell us something.
Yeah, like a warning.
Yeah. And that's why Dr. Pusuluri, in this post, he stresses how important it is to recognize this STS difficulty as a potential warning sign. It's not something to just ignore.
So what can we do about it? What does he suggest?
Well, the good news is that muscle weakness is often treatable and preventable.
Oh, okay, good.
The blog post kind of recommends this multifaceted approach.
Okay.
The first step, pretty straightforward. Consult a physical therapist.
Makes sense, so they can really see what's going on.
Yeah, assess your individual needs, create a targeted exercise plan for you.
But what if someone's not ready to see a physical therapist? Can they start doing anything on their own?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
This blog post, it outlines these really simple exercises,
Okay.
and they're designed to strengthen the muscle groups involved in STS. So things like chair squats, heel lifts, wall walks.
Okay, well, let's go through the, let's talk about those.
Sure.
So chair squats, how do those help?
Well, think about getting out of a chair.
Okay.
You're essentially doing a squat,
Right.
right? Yeah. So chair squats, they mimic that movement.
Okay.
They strengthen those quads, the hamstrings, glutes,
Okay.
the powerhouse muscles that get you up.
I see. So it's a simple exercise, but it targets all those important muscles.
Exactly.
Okay, what about heel lifts?
Heel lifts are great for strengthening your calf muscles. When you stand up, your calf muscles are really important for pushing off the ground
Right.
and stabilizing your ankle. So stronger calves mean more stability and power in that initial push.
So it's not just about, like, big leg strength.
Right.
It's about those, like, smaller stabilizing muscles, too.
Absolutely. And we often forget about those.
Okay, now what about wall walks? Those sound a little harder.
Yeah, so wall walks, they're a great way to work your core.
Okay.
And this is something that we often overlook when we talk about STS. But a strong core helps to stabilize your spine and your pelvis, allowing you to maintain balance and control as you're rising.
So all these exercises together are creating a more holistic approach to strengthening everything we need to get up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and these sound pretty doable.
Oh, absolutely. And he really stresses that even a little bit of effort can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend hours at the gym.
Right.
You can incorporate these exercises into your daily routine, maybe do a few sets while you're watching TV or waiting for the kettle to boil.
Right.
It can really improve your strength and stability over time.
It's about just making those small changes.
Absolutely.
But we were talking about those bigger issues, like chronic conditions and inactivity.
Right.
What can we do about those?
That's a great point. He highlights the importance of addressing those underlying issues as well.
Okay.
So for chronic conditions, work with your doctor to manage your symptoms and explore treatment options.
So it's not just about the sit-to-stand problem. It's about taking care of your whole health.
Exactly.
And then what about inactivity? How do we address that?
It's really about finding ways to move more in your daily life.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like strenuous exercise.
Yeah.
Take the stairs instead of the elevator, walk or bike instead of driving, even just getting up every hour and moving around.
Okay, so making conscious choices.
Yeah, to move more.
Yeah.
But he also, and this is really interesting, beyond the physical,
Right.
he also emphasizes staying engaged in life.
Oh.
Socializing, pursuing hobbies, finding those activities that bring you joy.
Okay.
All of these things, they contribute to a sense of purpose and well-being.
Right.
And that can actually have a positive impact on your physical health.
So it's all connected.
Exactly. Physical and mental health, very interconnected.
And I think that brings us to a good point because he also includes a couple of bonus tips that are a little unconventional.
Yeah.
So why don't we get into those in the next part of our deep dive?
Sounds good. These bonus tips, I think, they really highlight how things you wouldn't think would matter actually impact our ability to do these really basic things like standing up.
So what is this unconventional advice?
Okay, so first, he's really into going barefoot or wearing minimalist shoes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I've heard about barefoot shoes, but
Yeah.
I've never thought about it in terms of, standing up out of a chair.
Right. So it might seem like a stretch,
Yeah.
but it really has to do with this idea of proprioception,
Proprioception.
which is basically like your body's awareness of where it is in space.
Okay.
So when you wear shoes, especially shoes with thick soles and a lot of support, you're kind of limiting how much information your feet are getting from the ground.
So like our feet are numb in a way.
Yeah, kind of. And that can then impact our balance and stability.
Interesting.
And that can make those STS movements harder.
I see.
So barefoot or minimalist shoes, they allow for more feedback.
Okay.
And that can strengthen the muscles in our feet
Oh.
and improve our balance overall.
I can see that like when you're walking barefoot on the beach, you really feel your feet working.
Exactly.
You're grounded.
And those tiny muscles in our feet,
Yeah.
they play a really important role in mobility.
Mm.
And so he really believes that strengthening those muscles can help us with STS.
So again, it's not just legs and core, it's everything.
It's all connected, right?
Yeah, it's all these little muscles.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you have to ditch your shoes altogether.
Sure.
It's about maybe incorporating some barefoot activities into your day.
Okay.
Walk around the house barefoot, do some exercises barefoot.
Right.
Just give your feet a chance to actually, use those muscles.
Use those muscles. Yeah, wake up.
Yeah. Okay, so the second bonus tip,
Okay.
he recommends leg press exercises.
Leg presses.
Yeah.
I always thought those were for like building big muscles,
Right.
not like helping you get up from a chair.
Well, yeah, they are for building strength,
Right.
but that strength translates to those functional movements as well.
Yes.
Like when you're doing a leg press, think about pushing against the weights.
Yeah.
You're engaging all those major muscle groups in your legs. Quads, hamstrings, and glutes.
Right, which are the ones you use to stand up.
Exactly. So by strengthening them through leg presses, you're giving yourself a better foundation
I see.
for those movements.
So I'm seeing how all these things connect,
Yeah, the body's pretty amazing.
even if they don't seem like they would.
Yeah, how it all works together.
Now, he also talks about, we've been talking about exercise and prevention, but what about if you need more help?
Right.
He mentions this 20-inch electric chair lift assist device.
Yeah, so these can be super helpful
Okay.
for people who have a lot of difficulty getting up,
Right.
maybe because of severe arthritis or a recent injury.
Yeah.
It's basically a chair with a motor
Okay.
that helps you get up.
So it takes the pressure off those muscles?
Exactly. It gives you that boost
Yeah.
so that the transition is smoother and safer.
That makes sense.
And for some people,
Yeah.
that can be the difference between staying active and independent or not.
So it's acknowledging that sometimes you need a little extra support.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean giving up on strengthening.
Right.
They can work together.
Right. So you can use that while still doing your exercises.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance for your own needs.
And I thought it was really interesting how he also talked about the mental and emotional side of aging.
Yeah, he doesn't just focus on the physical.
Right.
He looks at the whole picture.
It's like it's not just about your body, it's about your mind, too.
Absolutely. He talks about how things like social isolation and lack of purpose can actually lead to physical decline.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling good mentally,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to get up and move.
Yeah, you're not going to want to exercise.
And that makes everything worse.
Right. It's a downward spiral.
Right.
You move less, you become weaker, and then it's even harder to do the things you enjoy.
So it's not just about, preventing falls.
Right.
It's about preventing a decline in your quality of life.
Exactly. So how do we combat that?
Yeah, what does he suggest?
Well, he's a big believer in staying engaged.
Okay.
No matter how old you are,
Yeah.
pursue your passions, connect with your community, find things you love.
So it's about finding that spark that keeps you going.
Exactly. And that leads to another really interesting point that I think is worth exploring further.
It seems like he's really saying that staying active
Yeah.
means more than just the physical stuff.
Right. It's not just about going to the gym.
Right.
It's about, being engaged with life.
Right. So what are some examples of that mind-body connection?
Well, think about stress
Oh, yeah.
and how it can actually make you physically sick, right? You get headaches, you get muscle tension,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even digestive issues when you're stressed out.
Yeah.
That's your body reacting to your mental state.
So it's not just in our heads, it's really happening.
It is, yeah. And then the opposite is true too, right?
Yeah.
Physical activity can actually affect your mental health.
Right.
There's studies that show exercise can help with anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
It can improve your mood, even make you think more clearly.
So it goes both ways.
It does. It's this feedback loop.
Yeah.
And I think when Dr. Pusuluri talks about staying engaged, having hobbies, connecting with people,
Right.
that all plays into this.
It really is about, like you said, the whole picture.
It is. It's about finding those activities that bring you joy,
Yeah.
give you that sense of purpose.
And it's like fighting against that idea that getting older is all about decline.
Right. It's not, it can be a time for growth,
Mm-hmm.
for new beginnings.
Yeah, I love that.
Embracing the aging process, all the wisdom and experience that you gain.
And that's what I like about this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not about just fixing problems.
Mm.
It's about changing how we think about aging. It's about realizing we can still grow and be strong.
And that we have more control than we think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hope if our listeners take away one thing from this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's to pay attention to how they get up from a chair.
That's a good one.
It seems small,
Yeah,
but it's really telling.
right. It's like a check-in.
Exactly. And if you're having a hard time,
Yeah.
talk to a physical therapist or another healthcare professional. There are people who can help you stay strong and independent.
And don't forget about the mental and emotional health.
Oh, that's so important.
Yeah.
Stay connected.
Mm-hmm.
Find things you love.
Yeah.
Never stop, exploring.
That's great advice. I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive
Yeah, it's been fun.
into this surprisingly complex world of just getting up out of your chair.
More to it than you'd think.
Yeah, we hope you found this helpful and empowering. And remember, no matter how old you are, there's always something you can do to feel better,
Yeah.
both physically and mentally.
Until next time.
Stay healthy, everyone.